Room, isn't it?
Great.
I've never been here. I like this area of town. I've been in this area of town, but never been in this
Okay, stand by.
hotel.
This is Julia Mugia with the Weinstein.
A Mugia.
Muja.
Muja?
Muja.
A Muja or Muja?
Muja.
Muja.
Space.
Okay, great. So when you read the script, how did it make you feel?
Well, I mean, it was such a moving script, it's such a story of discovery. And for me, it was very relatable because I grew up, not knowing my dad and discovering my dad through finding a birth certificate in my mom's closet. That's how I found out who my dad was. And so, and went on a trip with my mom to go meet my dad for the first time. So a lot of similarities, a lot of differences, but a lot of similarities. But the story of discovery and the story of trying to find out who you are and sort of coming to a sense of who you are is what I really enjoyed about the script when I read it.
And tell us a little bit about Danny. When Danielle finds him, what is his life like?
Well, I think he thinks he's got a perfect little life now. I'm not sure he's convinced of it, but you can certainly empathize with Danny. You can see what he's going through and see what he has to deal with all of a sudden when this girl shows. But you can't sympathize with him too much because he doesn't really seem to have the facilities or the faculties, I guess, to sort of grasp the situation that he's in and to know what to do about it. He wants to do the right thing, but I don't think he's really capable of doing the right thing or know what the right thing is. And it's really a sort of a panic situation he's in. He doesn't really know how to handle dealing with this girl showing up and dealing with his past life, and he's got his new life now and his daughter. I mean, to me, one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the film is when Danny's talking to his daughter and his little girl comes out and they meet. I mean, I can't imagine what that would have been like to have been in that situation.
Yeah, it was so hard for me to understand that he could turn away from her
Right,
at that
yeah.
moment.
It's tough.
Talk about shooting that with Juno. I mean, you have such a small moment together, but it's so huge.
Well, it's so, when you have such a small time on film and such a small part, but it's such a pivotal part, you want to find that connection. You want to sort of find out build as much, I guess, background in your mind of what you can with that character. So when you get there and you're not on set the whole time with everybody else, so you don't have this sort of relationship built up. But in a lot of ways, I think for this scene in particular, it really worked because there's such a nervousness there, and there's such a just uncomfortableness that the scene is about. And I think that's what not being apart, not being around, and not knowing Juno, and not really being in everybody sort of, when you're in a film and everybody's shooting a film for 6 or 8 weeks, it becomes its own little sort of world. You sort of live in a vacuum. And so when you sort of come in from the outside and sort of punch a hole in that vacuum, especially in a scene like this, I think sometimes it really works. And it certainly did for this because I was nervous, and I think everybody was a little nervous, and the scene called for that, and it was such a poignant and touching scene that I think that's what made it work more than anything, other than Juno's great acting and pulling me along through it.